Speed Triple 1200 Triumph RS. Now, this is their new naked sports bike. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So this has loads more electronics. It's got more power. It's up 30 horsepower from the previous one to about 178. It rides incredibly well. It has the most fantastic throttle response. It wants to ride. It just wants to go. And when you first get on it and you first open it up, you just can't help but whoop in your helmet.
Oh my God! Oh! Woo! All right.
It's such a nice bike to ride. We've all loved the previous Speed Triple, and for its usability, its power. It was easy to ride slowly. Mid range was fantastic, but I suppose it needed a bit of uplift because of everything else. You got the Aprilia, you got the KTM, you got Kawasaki, you got Ducati, and they're all offering something different, and they've come up with this one, so it's 30 horsepower more, up to 178 brake horsepower, so it has plenty of power. But do you need that much power, that much engine in a naked sports bike, and is it usable? And that's the big question with all of these bikes. How usable is the power? Like this bike, for instance, really comes alive when you go to the racetrack. It really is a racetrack tool. But then you want to know, well, can I ride it every day in traffic? Can I commute? Can I do all of that? Or is the power usable? And from my short experience of riding it a little bit in traffic, out in the open road, I think it really does do that. It gives you more power, but the low end is it's easy to get around town, and the mid range is really good, and that's where I think we all are going to be really with these bikes. Is when you're on the road, is you want that low down torque to be easy and usable, and then you want that mid range. You want that lovely little snappiness as you want to overtake a car or go around a corner. So that, and it has that. So they haven't forgotten what the Speed Triple was and what the Speed Triple is now. Okay, so I suppose we're going to talk about the engine. They've obviously done a lot of work to it. It's got a stack gearbox, and which enables the engine to be much shorter, which means that the swinging arm can be a little longer. So it has a bit more flickability to it. I've got some friends who've taken it on the track, and they say it really comes into its own when you're on the racetrack. It with all the electronics on it, I think the anti-wheelie one works really well, because when you're coming into a corner and you're accelerating hard out of a corner, the front wheel wants to lift, and the wheelie control helps the bike stay on the ground, so you can get around those corners a little bit faster. It has plenty more power, 30 brake horsepower more, which is a lot. And the engine sits very prettily within the bike. It kind of makes you want to ride it. It makes you want to get on the bike. I think if you were to talk about the suspension, it's really progressive. You get the real feel for it. The Öhlins work incredibly well. I think if anything, it's a little stiff, certainly stiffer than the previous Triple, but it is fully adjustable, so you get a lot of good feel for it. Whether or not you want to do a long journey on one of these, I don't think anybody would want to do a long journey on one of these naked sports bikes, but I don't mind it. I mean, some people say it's a bit stiff, but I have ridden it a little bit now, and I don't mind. So one of the nice things that this comes with is the rubber. It is the Pirelli Super Corsas, and they're a proper piece of rubber, settle rubber, I should say. Really good for the track. You can see here, so when you come to the edges, it's almost a slick, and then obviously it's cut in the middle, so that they work really well in the wet. They work on the road. They work on the racetrack. They don't get ripped up and torn up so much. They're a good tire, and obviously rubber is no good without brakes, and these Brembos are fantastic, plenty. They have really good feel from the moment you touch them. They're very progressive. You know, you can really feel the bite. They give you lots of feedback, so really like those. I'll tell you one thing I do want to talk about is this anti-stall. I think it's really clever. But before we talk about that, have a listen to this. Right, so come up here and I'll show you the anti-stall. Have a look at the screen and you can see it's sitting there at about 1,500 revs. And when you're sitting at the traffic lights, that's fine. And then when you want to go off, as you pull the clutch out, it builds up the power. Do you see there? And then you can move off without using the accelerator. How clever is that, eh? Right, so all we have to do really is just is talk about how the bike looks, and I have to say it does look rather. It kind of looks aggressive, doesn't it? Like a praying mantis or something like that. Just something ready. It's just saying, "Come, get on the bike and ride me." But I think you know, and again, it's one of those questions. You know, would I own one or not? And I think, you know, it'd be silly not to have one in your stable. Right, so, well, we've spoken about it, we've had a look at it, we know how beautiful it is and all the statistics and electronics and horsepower and all that kind of stuff. So the only thing left to do is to get out on the road and give it a little go.
So throwing my leg over this Triumph Speed Triple, it's their latest model. The last Speed Triple was absolutely fantastic. Really, really nice bike to ride on the road, on the track. Just great fun. And I was really interested to know how this one will do. You know, it's got the increased horsepower. They've done a lot of work to it. You know, the usual electronics are there, the anti-wheelie, the traction control, the different modes, sport, whatever mode you want, customizing, it's all there. But the proof is in the pudding, I suppose. And when you get out on the road, what is it like? And I'm here in the Surrey Hills on some quite bouncy roads, so it feels a little stiff, I have to say, but you know, but that's okay. It has a very nice display. I really like this display, very easy to use, and you can change your mode to whatever you want. You can have road, or you can have your custom bike, rain, a sort of motorway, and then your sport mode, which is very nice. Oh, look at this power. She just races along. It wants to move. Pretty much all of the manufacturers have got a naked sports bike, and you just wonder, oh my god, oh, woo, all right, this thing wheelies everywhere as well. Woo. Oh, over this little brow, this hill. Oh, it takes it quite well. I tell you, the minute you speed her up, it really changes its dynamics. When you're stopped here, and if you let the clutch out, you can see it brings the revs up, and you can literally pull off without using your clutch, your accelerator. So that's very clever. I like that touch. I can't imagine how wonderful it would be on the track, you know, going around Donington or Brands Hatch or Snetterton or something like that. It would come into its own. But what's really nice about this bike is the low down usable power. So when you're going through traffic in town, I was up in London just the other day on this, and it was really easy to get around and commute and stuff, and the mid-range is really nice, and that's kind of what you're looking for. If you're going to spend most of your time on the roads, you want that low down and mid-range power, and you want usable power, and I think this gives you that. Very clever what they've done, Triumph. And then when you want the power, it's all there. It's all there. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, here's a little bit here. Gonna go up and just, oh my golly gosh. Oh, it wants to wheelie everywhere. So, yeah, so plenty of power. So you can have as much power as you want to your heart's content, I have to say. But, yeah, and it's got the heated grips, which is nice. It feels good on the corners. It accelerates really well. Whoa! It's got that lovely rasping triple. Yeah, bloody hell. I love it. Woo! Oh, my. I'm sure when you first start riding this bike, your fuel consumption will be terrible because all you want to do is just keep accelerating really hard. Oh, wow. It puts a smile on your face. I have to say, it really does put a smile on your face. Wow. Wow, I think you could wheelie in almost every gear. Whew.
Well, I can't keep this smile off my face. I have to say, it's just every time I get back on this bike, I just love riding it. It's so nimble and it just twitchy and it wants to just ride. It wants to go. It's really fun bike to ride. You know, I'm really looking forward to spending a little bit of time with it. You know, certainly on a track day or out in the Alps or somewhere. I think you could have a lot of fun. All that I've got left to say is if you like this review, obviously just click and subscribe. There's plenty of other ones on my YouTube channel. And then look out for the next one. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.